Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Radio 1 Berlin. Not too far away into Treptow, Berlin, is the relatively new-ish Baumschulenweg Cemetery. It's been here since 1911 and hosts a crematorium renowned by its own means due to its role in both wartime and Cold War Berlin history. That aside, it hosts graves and monuments to those persecuted by both two 20th century totalitarian regimes as well as private individuals. Radio 1 took some time to go afoot. Okay, but Baumschulen is basically a tree nursery, right? Yeah. Okay, and the Schwedt family, when would this have been? In the 19th century, the middle part, early part?
They have, that's a tradition of 250 years.
Okay.
And it all started close to our home on the Mariannenplatz.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they built the Bethanien Krankenhaus, he had to go because originally it was there.
Okay.
So the plant nursery was in what is now the Mariannenplatz and the Bethanien hospital.
Okay.
And because of that and extension of the city, they moved them over here.
Was that in 1870?
If they built in 1870, then it must be...
After the Franco-Prussian War.
Yeah.
That's when, it's my understanding that prior to 1870, this was part of Teltow. But after 1870, it became autonomous, and then it was after October 3rd, 1920, that this then became part of Brits Neukölln.
Yeah. This is the thing from how it is all started. As a kind of historic introduction, this was just one big plant nursery, and they had to give in more and more territory also to the army because they held their exercises over here.
Okay.
And there were hunting parties also over here, but usually the people from Berlin came here for their leisure.
Okay.
So to have your picnic where people are shooting and it's not a great idea.
Not a great idea, yeah.
And that's why they built the Treptow Park.
Okay.
And the one thing about this whole thing of Planterwald and Baumschulenweg is that when they cut the trees, they move them over the Baumschulenstraße, through the Planterwald to the Spree. And that's why all these parks are still there.
Okay. Anyway, should we say hi?
Hi.
Hey everybody. Welcome to Radio 1 Berlin. My name is Jason Honea. I am Boy True, aka the Shitty Listener. And this is my colleague,
Rinus Van Alebeek. This is part of our historic series, and the man cupping his ears is Adrian Shephard, who is recording all this. And as you might have guessed from the introduction, we are in a part of Berlin that's called Baumschulenweg. Go to the map and you have to go to the green piece in the east, just under the river. And we're standing on a cemetery, and there's lots of stories to this cemetery. Which, where shall we start? World War II or before that? I think World War II, no?
World War II. Okay, so
to which I have another story.
Okay, I'm sure you do. So I'd just like to add that this cemetery looks like one big, huge Charles Birchfield painting. If Charles Birchfield is known by any of you.
No.
American wallpaper designer as well as nature painter. We are looking at a ton of oak and elm and birch and beech and pine trees. It is absolutely stunning here. And it appears, Rinus, you might know more about this than I do, we're looking at a field of probably 150, if not 300 stones, all people who seem to have survived the Second World War. So here we have Friedrich Dorn, 1911 to 1989, and then Gerda Dorn from 1925 to 2017. So these are people that obviously survived the war, but must have suffered during the war under Nazi persecution. And atop lots of these stones, we have stones themselves, meaning the people have come to visit them. And then we have individual roses or carnations around which are wrapped white labels. I believe in Russian it says, "Never again war, nie wieder Krieg."
All right, then we have to look at the names.
And then we have this VN BDA.
But then we have to look at the names.
Right.
Schwarz, let's see, Hoffmann, Pfaff,
Werder Henke.
Markowitz,
Yeah.
and Schlie, and Heinitz, and Brenk. Not all of them occur to me to be Jewish names, but if you're called Ruth and Adam...
And we have Levi over here, like crazy.
But if there are stones on the graves, they're Jewish.
Yeah.
So, being not all of the Jewish graves are ornamental, so I guess the ornament is the gathering of stones itself, and it looks like a mini representation of the Holocaust monument in the middle of the town, where
Sure.
the blocks are much bigger, and here it's very,
Good
very,
point.
very straight. It's all the same color gray, and it's very
It's uniform.
aesthetically outstanding. I think.
I'm wondering if these were Sachsenhausen survivors.
we.
Just wondering. Just wondering. I don't know for sure, but I'm wondering if these were Sachsenhausen survivors. Now, interestingly, Rinus, over here, come over here, please.
I haven't seen anything about this,
Yeah,
during
I
our-
didn't come. Yeah,
but that might be a
but here
monument.
to the communists. Look, they're doing the right hand. They're doing the Ernst Thielmann fist
Yeah.
lift. Okay, red flower.
Flag,
So-
heroic, martial.
So are these perhaps maybe not even Sachsenhausen survivors, but persecuted communists?
No, for this they. I mean, we are in 1989 and 1990.
Survivors.
Yeah, you think for the drama, for the dramatic aspect, I would say this is Sachsenhausen survivors.
Yeah.
And then they can be of both parties, and the Jews and the communists.
SPD, all
Yeah.
kinds of people.
But there are other things. Did you have a look at that? This iron plates.
Yeah,
What's on it?
people lost their lives during the course of the Second World War. So let's just look at it. I mean, it's really difficult to read. The names are so small. But what I find curious is this statue over here, or this monument over here, with the men and women, one's hoisting a huge banner, and the other ones are doing the East German communist salute, the Ernst Thielmann fist in the air.
But there's also these little things.
Hier
here,
ruhen
and
die
yet,
im Zweiten Weltkrieg Verstorbenen.
All the
Maybe
names?
victims of the air war over Berlin.
Yeah, there we are. There we are. That's just right at the beginning that we find big iron plates with numerous names on it. If one these
11
plates,
of these plates with at least
these plates are like
150 names on them.
80 centimeters per and 80 centimeters, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 31 lines
Mhm.
of names on 80 centimeters, and it goes from Emma Abramski to Wilhelm Veerman, and then we are at F, and we go
It's
from
alphabetical.
Vladislava Veer to August Jensen, all 1945, 1944, 1945, and then we go from Bernard Jure to Clara Lüdecker, Franz Lulka to Martha Richter,
Anne Riegner
yeah, to Selma Stefan,
to Bruno Stoltmann.
and Unbekannt, unknown.
Yeah. And then it goes again.
And we start again with the A. And this is what the bombing, what you said, the February bombings. It's all 3rd of February, and then there's a chronology.
So these would have been these big daytime American raids.
There's a chronology in it.
Right.
There's a chronology in it. Because also there's no chronology in it. Although, still 3rd of April, or 3rd of February, 26th of February, 3rd of February. So, what you say, the big air raid?
The big American raid, February 3rd, 45. And if I'm not mistaken, there was another one a week after it. But the February 3rd one, 1,500 bombers, 1,000 fighters. It hit Mitte, Friedrichshain, parts of Kreuzberg. And then if I'm not mistaken, the city basically caught on fire for 4 days because of it, because of the winds. And and it was in the subsequent fires that tons of people lost their lives. But the big raids, the big American raid, February 3rd, 45.
There's another thing, if you come to Berlin, there's a part of Kreuzberg which is east of the Lindenstraße. You go from the Jewish Museum behind the Jewish Museum, and there you see a part of Kreuzberg which looks like 50s, built in the 50s,
Right.
lots of green between it,
Mm.
all 3-4 story houses. that was a very big part of the industry that got bombed, because it looked like the rest of Kreuzberg. And then north of the Karl-Marx-Straße,
Yeah.
where all these new communist buildings or social Moscovite buildings, Moscovite-style buildings were
Sure.
built. Also, that was a part with lots of industry factories supplying the war machine. And yeah, this is not, ladies and gentlemen, the only mass grave in Berlin. There were 180,000 people who died during those air
Yeah.
raids. And all over Berlin there are cemeteries, and all over Berlin you find in these cemeteries mass graves. But here, because it is a very significant point, significant place for more people finding their last resting place, that you got this small monument for the victims of that war.
And you know, it wasn't even
innocent, or maybe not so innocent people.
I mean, so many people losing their lives, but at the same time, how many people were rendered homeless in one night?
Yeah.
100,000 people rendered homeless in one night. Big English raid. I wanted to, on that note, read a quote from Sir Arthur Harris, Bomber Harris, in which he said, "The Nazis entered the war under the rather childish delusion that they were going to bomb everyone else, and no one was going to bomb them. At Rotterdam, London, Warsaw, and 100 other places, they put the rather naive theory into operation. They sowed the wind, and now they're going to reap the whirlwind." Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe we don't need to include the woo.
yeah, but still, Mr. Harris had this theory.
A lot of people want to try him as a war criminal.
Before there was a Second World War, because he bombed Persia, and there he thought that carpet bombing was just a very good tactic.
Right.
But you were talking about all these people being homeless. And there is a great book by Harald Jener.
Mm-hmm.
Harald Jener, and he writes about Germany in the years 1945, immediately after the war, and telling all these stories of the people just scattered over the whole of Germany and just walking and looking for work, and if they could be there, and if they could find another place to rest and to be for some.
This is in
some
45.
time. Yeah, and those years after.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at Berlin. Because also after the World War, and East German city planners and West Berlin city planners, they had the idea to get rid of everything that made people think of the old Berlin. And if you do that, you can also get away a little bit with the history of that time and make a new clear start.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that Mr. Harris had that in mind.
No.
We give you a clean sheet and then you can start from scratch.
Right.
But demoralizing and making it easier for your own troops.
Right.
Those are arguments that are in favor.
If I'm not mistaken, when the war began in 39, or when the mass bombing or the initial bombing operations began to take place, it was Roosevelt who basically asked the belligerents, "Please, everybody, let's keep this strategic. Yeah, best we can do to avoid civilian targets. Yes, we know in the process there's going to be civilian casualties here and there, but something like carpet bombing, things like that, we can absolutely avoid." And the French and the English were totally in agreement with that, as long as the guys on the other side of the trench adhered to that as well. Okay, but after Rotterdam, after Warsaw, Coventry, then it became quite clear which way this was going to go. Bombing by night, because of tactics, strategic bombing was very, very difficult bombing at night, and daytime raids proved to be way too costly in terms of aircraft and aircrew trying to strategically bomb because of flak and fighters, and that's when gradually this idea about carpet bombing began to take root.
It's also if your opponent is tired, and this applies to boxing as well.
Yeah.
You go for the knockout.
Yeah. As the bombing campaign increased and the war went on, Allied losses were savage, but so were German. And Allied losses could be quasi-replaced, but German couldn't.
if some people are thinking of Gaza right now, that's completely other war.
Yeah.
That's the thing that you can compare with Warsaw in the last days of the war, where there was a resistance, and the resistance people thought from, hey, the Soviets are going to join us in our resistance against the Germans, but they were wrong, because the Soviets were waiting until the Germans were ready and had killed 150,000
And we're going to take out all the opposition
people.
they were going to have to encounter anyway, right? Eventually. The Germans were going to take care of all the resistance that the Soviets were going to have to encounter anyway, right?
Well, the Polish were fighting with the Soviets, but
The Soviets hung back.
we are 1945.
Yeah, right.
So the Soviets were waiting for the city wall until the Germans were ready, and flattened Warsaw and had 150,000 casualties. But Stalin hated the Polish.
Yeah.
That was another part of having everyone killed, and that was after the war that he continued in his paranoia.
But wasn't the line of thinking as well, you know what, let's just let the Germans handle everybody that we're going to have to eventually handle anyway? You know, let the Germans do that instead of us having to do it, and then we can go in afterwards?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Warsaw, everybody, let's come over here.
Jason, yeah, are you know the way to this Polish plaque?
It's over there.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could be wrong in what I was just saying, but that was always my impression based on what I, got back in college and.
Anyway, walking between Kurt and Klara Goschinski, Kurt and Lili Zellheim, Otto and Margarethe Zimmermann, that must be the uncle and aunt of Bob, Alfred and Charlotte Korthals. There's a Dutch lawyer who's called Korthals, Walter and Herta Maltz, Alexander von Borel, Hildegard Hensel, Max Sturm, Josef and Lucia Pazderski, Ernst Hechler. I like the idea that these are survivors, communist and Jewish survivors of Sachsenhausen. And,
who then decided to be buried here for whatever reason.
Yeah, and that's why they're standing here in line, and it's beautiful.
Okay, so these look like German soldier graves.
Yeah, you find them everywhere.
You find them everywhere. But
they
because
look like
so
a laptop,
with moss and lichen, it's difficult in some cases to read the names. But you guys, if you come over here we have...
Jason, before you go to that, because when you came at the Baumschulenweg and the U-Bahn, you walk under the bridge and you go to the Kiefelstraße. But if you go the other way, you come to the Köpenicker Landstraße. And apparently the last battle of Berlin was there.
Really?
Yeah. You know, with the huge resistance and everything. And then the Soviets taking one of those buildings there with the roundish thing, built in the 1920s, and from there on went on. So those casualties might also
be from that whole episode over there.
Yeah. I think after that it was just a wild thing, and the ultimate battle was of course the Reichstag thing.
Okay.
Or you have more in mind?
No, I wasn't even familiar with that. In fact, I'm not even sure if I know where the Landsberger Straße is.
No, not the Landsberger Straße. It's the Köpenicker Landstraße.
Köpenicker Landstraße.
You go in between the park, Treptower Park.
Okay.
You've got the entrance to the Soviet monument on your left.
Okay.
You continue, and you leave the city.
Okay, right.
It goes right out of the city.
Sure.
So they're coming from the east over that big street.
Okay, I forgot that that's actually just right over there.
Yeah.
All right. I have the feeling that we're deeper in southeast Berlin than that. Okay. I'll go over and check that out.
Yeah.
Anyway, you guys, so here we have a big stone. We're both in Polish and German. It says, I can't pronounce the Polish at all, so I won't bother reading that. Zum Gedanken an die polnischen Zwangsarbeiter und Häftlinge aus Konzentrations- und Arbeitslager. Sie sind Opfer des deutschen Überfalls auf Polen und der nationalsozialistischen Verfolgung während des Zweiten Weltkrieges 1939-1945. Und da ist der weiße polnische Adler.
Yeah.
And here on the left side, it basically says the exact same thing in Polish. So this might be completely independent of what we're looking at here. I think these are pretty much just German soldier graves.
I think we have a memorial spot here because the DDR people must be over there somewhere. The monument for them. There's one thing that I want to say to these Polish memorial places, because they also had like 6 million victims in that war.
Yeah.
3 million of them Jewish, but 3 million of them Polish. And for what reason, I don't know, the commemoration of it is scarce.
Yeah.
Now opposite the Reichstag, you've got one information table which says that the Krolloper used to be there, and that was where Hitler said from, okay, we started our war against Poland.
Yeah.
And next to it, almost ready, is a commemoration stone for the Polish, 1939,
I believe I've seen that.
1945. It's almost ready. And it's now 2025.
Oh, it's almost ready.
It's
They're still working on it.
yeah.
Okay.
There's still fences around it.
But don't
and
forget,
that's a long time. I mean,
yeah,
what's,
it's insane.
what's
80 years.
what's the relation between the Germans and
No,
the,
that's only that would be 86 years, right?
yeah, 85 years last year.
Okay. But don't forget that in Volkspark Friedrichshain there's the memorial to the Warsaw Uprising.
Of course. No.
Thought it was the August 44
No, it's to
Warsaw
the
Uprising.
it's to the Polish army, the secret army or the underground army, who helped to win that battle,
Uh-huh.
and for the East Germans as well. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made that monument.
Okay.
But I've got a Baedeker from the early 1970s, and the west of Poland is still considered Germany in that Baedeker. And it's until Brandt who said from, okay, we recognize these borders,
Yeah.
that it became Polish. And before it was Polish protectorate. So there's something between Poland and Germany.
And that would have been 61, 62?
No, 72 we are.
72.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we try to walk around here a little bit more and see if we can find something else? There's got to be.
I would like to find...
Oh, the DDR, it's over here.
Uh,
You mean the victims of the wall?
yeah,
The Enmark, it's over here.
giant story.
This modest, weird little
That's it.
white, that's it. And you know what I never realized about the crematorium? The crematorium was also used as a place where victims, DDR victims of people trying to circumnavigate the wall from 61 to 89, this is where these people were all cremated.
Yeah.
You know that? Yeah. And I guess their ashes and graves are here.
Okay.
Okay.
But that's not the only thing. It's so sinister here as well, because it's very easy to say people were cremated here, but people also arrived here. So not only those who were victims of the bombings. I mean, you've got bodies in the streets, and you go there and you take the body and you load them on a truck, and then there's 20 bodies
Horse-drawn wagon.
And there's then 20 bodies on the truck, and you go, or maybe even somebody dragging a cart,
Sure.
and they come here and then say, oh yeah, 20 more. Gosh, I don't know if we have that much fuel, you know, that kind of everyday situations right then. More sinister even is that the Jewish victims from the death camps, also they were brought here.
Yeah.
So what's that?
People from Sachsenhausen and Dachau were packed in boxcars, and their bodies were brought here as well too. And
Boxcars
cremated.
is trains, huh?
Yeah, so far away. I was commenting to Adrian earlier. Man, could you imagine that in the summertime, in boxcars from Dachau all the way to Berlin? How long would that get? 7, 8 hours, 9 hours? I mean, were they refrigerated? I have no idea in the world. I mean, they probably didn't want to be completely open. Yeah, they probably wanted to be way more candid about what they were doing. But yeah, anyway, das alte Krematorium Baumschulenweg diente der Ministerium der Staatlichen der DDR als Ort der Vertuschung der Todesumstände.
Okay, what we're looking at is a memorial for the people who were killed when they tried to fly from East Berlin, and they were shot at the wall. And there was lots of people involved because they were picked up and they get fake death certificates. Those people, the people transporting them here, the people from the crematorium, they were all involved. They all still live. They are all in a ring of silence, and they never talk about it. And the people directly involved, like wives and daughters and sons and such, they just heard that daddy had disappeared. And they didn't hear that. They noticed this. There are even women from can I marry a new man, because I don't know if my old husband is dead or not.
Is this entire area here reserved for these people?
They don't know exactly. They still don't know exactly where it was. But there's a couple of stories to it. That's, for instance, there's a guy called Gerald Thieme, and he apparently after an evening out in the bar, he came with his drunken head too close to the wall, and they shot at him 177 times. And what they did with every person, they emptied their pockets to see what was there. And like this, they found this key to the house. So when the wife was not at home, they went with this key into the house and bugged everything, and also tapped all the phone calls to see if there was anything leading to her having ideas of flying. This kind of paranoia. Have something
better to do?
They never told her that her husband died. Never. So years later, she wanted to marry, and she wanted to do a last effort to find out where her husband was, and still no answer. And that's what they did to everyone over here. So everyone who got shot, everyone you can imagine who got involved, from this is doctors, they don't write a death certificate.
Right, well that's what states here, right? Die Totenscheine und Sterbeurkunden wurden verfälscht, Beweismittel manipuliert, Angehörigen in Unwissen gelassen, getäuscht, eingeschüchtert, manche deren Krematorien in aller Heimlichkeit eingeäschert Totenwürde an bis heute unbekannte Stelle beigesetzt, andere auch in dieser Anlage. Wow.
Please translate.
Death certificates of all kinds were falsified. Any kind of proof of death was manipulated. Loved ones left not knowing really what happened, lied to, made to shut up. Many of the bodies that were cremated secretly were buried in a few places, not all of which are known even today, aside from this place here, something like that.
There's another story, and this is about Horst Einsiedel, and he also was shot at the wall. Then the wife heard 2 months later from they'd found him in the Havel, and better not come to identify him, but because you don't want to see this body.
It looks like a mummy.
But he was already cremated weeks and weeks before.
Wow.
And there's been an exhibition.
So much lying, it's just insane.
There's been an exhibition of this where they just showed the things that they had in their pockets, but also like the false teeth.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost like measuring your skull, that kind of anthropology. But yeah, it must have been scattered all over here, you know. And
sure. What's interesting is that how in the world did they possibly secretly bury these people if other people weren't in the cemetery as well at the same time? Wouldn't people have noticed and wondered, you know, oh, who's being buried over there? What's going on here?
Well, you're not buried, you are burned.
Right.
And then you've got ashes, and they do this with the ashes. Could have been everyone. Because also the people from the crematorium were involved.
Yeah.
And it was one, and still existing, one ring of silence. Everyone who was involved, they keep their mouth shut.
Sure. But it was my impression that there were also people who were buried here. They weren't just cremated. There were also people who were buried here. For whatever reason, I have no idea in the world, how in the world, what kind of criteria they had to decide who was going to be burned and who was just going to be buried. But anyway, we're looking, let's just describe, I mean, we're looking at what looks like as big as like 2 or 3 football fields. A big, huge, massive area.
You never played football, or you mean American football?
Well,
okay.
Or 3 football fields, if not 4.
No,
1, 2, 3 back there, and then over here as well. We can't even see because all the trees are in the way.
Okay, 2 decent football fields.
Are we getting beyond now our scope? Because we've got a lot of information here already.
Anyways,
but let me say something. You know what?
You can build a stadium here.
Guys, I'm so happy this is here, but couldn't they do something better than this?
Yeah.
You know? They could do something better than that, right? It's a metal plate. We've got the Berlin seal on here, the dancing bear. And I took a picture. You can take another one if you want to post it, you know. But I mean, it's great that it's here. Of course, it's important. But we could do something more tasteful than this. Yeah. So why don't we take a little walk? Why don't we go see what's over here? I mean, it's just as open as well too.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for my feeling only, can we do a detour to the stadium and then go there?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Don't get ticks, guys. Second.
Still?
This time of year here, yeah.
Oh God.
This is when it's starting, and I've got shorts on.
We're walking probably on the ashes of wall victims.
Hence the fantastic growth.
I've seen a picture of one guy kneeling at a tree, but how do you geolocate this tree?
Right. Didn't the concentration camps, Sachsenhausen, I've been to Sachsenhausen, they had crematoriums there, they had ovens there. Yeah. So would it be more expedient to just burn the bodies there rather than shipping them to Berlin to be cremated over here? You know what I mean?
Capacity.
Capacity, yeah. Huh. I mean, if you go to Sachsenhausen, when you walk past the big, huge Soviet memorial and you go left, there's that wall right there, and it's back there where that Erschießungsgrab is.
Mm-hmm.
And then back behind there were also the gas chambers, Gaskammern, and then, if I'm not mistaken, they literally had those cremated right there. They were right there.
Yeah, but apparently there were camps all over Germany, crossing a high road of ants.
Yeah.
Oh,
you got one.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
So where were the camps in the immediate surroundings of Berlin? Can't be only Sachsenhausen, or were they? I never made a study of this.
Yeah, Sachsenhausen. I mean, it had tons of subcamps. They had a subcamp where the SS brewed beer.
Oh God.
Yeah, SS beer. Yeah. And a buddy of mine found a bottle at the Mauer Park flea market one time, an empty bottle, but with a label on it. Yeah. He paid a penny for that. Okay, so 95.
This is just
95.
cute.
This is just regular graves, right?
Yeah. But you want to go to the other side?
Yeah, I want to check out the other side. Let's go see what's over there. Or what is all this? I mean, are they here too? I don't.
If this is field E, then this is where they are.
Wow.
And it looks so like from Dumpty Dumpty Dum. There's nothing going on at all.
Yeah.
But
let's go down this way and see. Cut around the back and then come back over. Should we do that?
Is this almost like a starting grain field?
Yeah.
Like rye or what?
1,000.
Whoa.
Wait, how many
whiskey.
people lost their lives? 310 people lost their lives trying to circumnavigate the wall?
I read it went from 136 to 137, but whatever you read, it's always different numbers.
Right.
And the other ones are like it was double.
Right.
But they still don't know.
So, but the first, 130, that was what I originally understood.
Yeah.
And then I recently came across something that said it was about 325 people.
Oh, that's another number, yeah.
Okay. But successful escapes were 1,005? 1,005, yeah.
No, 5,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's not my number if you go to...
All right, but that's people just getting from East Germany to West Germany, in terms of the wall around Berlin.
No, East Berlin to West Berlin.
5,000?
I also find it hard to believe, but if you gather the first 9 days when there was no order to shoot those people,
right?
That must have been like an exodus.
Okay, yeah. Wow.
This I think is very impressive. If you know that this is what it is, then this is just plain expressive. With this young plants shooting, the little lanes. Mown in between it, and it's not as expressive as if you think there was once a camp here, and lots of people died here, but there was once a wall here and some people died. And nobody knew about it, and their ashes were scattered here.
Farther over that way, towards Braunschweigerstraße, right over there, where now that big huge Gartenanlage is, that was a Zwangsarbeiterlager for Polish and French and Belgian women.
Okay.
They were being held there, and they're actually at night. They had this really interesting setup. That's the only word I can just use to, or that's the only term I can use to actually describe this place. There's this big, huge metal pole, and about 15, 20 feet off the ground is this big, huge box. And when you're walking by at night, this box basically projects onto the ground all the information in English and German, letting you know what was there. And it was a work camp for Polish, Belgian, and French women. And I'm not mistaken, there's a football pitch there now.
At Sonnenallee, at the other side of the Sonnenallee, there was a camp where the Obi is and where that flea market is. Great.
It's easy just to walk by there and not really know what's going on, but if you stop and notice it, it's informing you what was actually there.
But yeah, Jason, there were 800,000 of these forced laborers in Berlin at the end of the war, and still 2 million people living here.
Right. Oh, so you mentioned this when we were over there earlier. Something I wanted to tell you. You know my friend Jesse? You've met him before, the other guy from California. He was working on his master's, and that's actually what he was going to focus on in his master's work, was namely what was going on in occupied Germany after the War of Secession. Namely, you had so many groups of people just moving all over Germany. Former POW, it's actually going to rain, fellas. Former POWs, former Zwangsarbeiter, just dislocated peoples, German refugees, everybody. You know, I mean, it sounds horrifying, but at the same time, too, it must have been a really exciting time, you know, with all those people. Imagine what people were talking about. You know, you had whole sections of forest just being camped by people. And the deeper you got into West Germany, especially around Frankfurt Main, those big, huge American U.S. Army holding pens for German POWs. How many guys were being held in these things? Thousands of guys were being held in these things. And there are all these sort of post-war accusations, some of which I'm sure is true, in which, you know, German POWs were, you know, mishandled by the Americans, and all kinds of executions and this, that, and the other
That's
thing.
the book
Sure,
that I
bet it was
gave you with all these horror stories.
Yeah, bet it was going on, certainly. 2020, so now we have the regular cemetery. Have you guys ever been to a cemetery before and you've come across somebody with your exact birth date? I have. March 3rd, 1965. I mean, there's just someone you born on the day you were, and they've already been gone for like 15 years or something like that. It's pretty crazy. This is pretty spooky.
You know what we see now? That's like the miniature version of the Kleingartenanlage. With all these little gardens that people have all over Berlin, where they come together in a little garden house and grow flowers.
All right, I just want to see what these big, huge iron plaques are here on the ground.
There's one thing that we might have missed, and that's for the Italian forced laborers.
Yeah, where is that?
That's all there. They are all united over there somewhere, where the Polish and the East and the DDR and the World War II is. Yeah.
Okay.
But still, I'm still more and more in support of your theory that these are the survivors of
Sachsenhausen.
Sachsenhausen.
Yeah. Persecuted individuals who survived Sachsenhausen. Yeah.
Anthony and Gisela Jobs and Theodore.
But it makes you wonder, would they
Levy
voluntarily say, oh yeah, you know, I don't want to be in a family plot. I'd just much rather be buried at the Sachsenhausen.
Max and Elia Keppel.
And this is all post, well, in some cases it's post reunification.
Yeah,
I saw 91, so that's okay. Here's some real flowers.
But given the fact that they almost all look the same, are we in the West?
No, I thought we were in East Berlin. Because I thought that this here,
Oh yeah, Baumschulenweg.
I thought that the Baumschulenweg crematorium aside was the only crematorium in East Berlin.
Of course, the DDR things. What am I talking?
Right. I thought Baumschulenweg was the only crematorium in East Berlin, and the only other crematorium was in Wedding. Wow. Your radio on Team Berlin.
Taking you to places where you've never been before and probably never come. Well, you can go here, of course. If you want us in your company, call us and we make a deal.
Yeah. You know, it seems so odd. No one's even come in here and like mowed this really. Well, I guess they have. Look, this grass on the right and left's a little bit higher.
Of course, also there, those lanes.
Yeah. But you thought they would come in here and scrape this and, you know.
There's a green policy in,
exactly.
in Berlin.
So, you guys, last summer I gave a tour to like 45 Australian jazz enthusiasts. It was like a 3-hour tour. I got paid nicely for it. It was pretty cool. But when we were driving around Berlin, there were all these sections of park or like middle lanes, islands that were just completely overgrown in the summertime. They go, Jason, this looks so shabby. Why don't they clean it up? And then I realized, well, because this is like a green zone, they're allowing this stuff to grow so that the bees and everybody can get what they need, to go out their lives. And then it dawned on everybody just thought that was the greatest thing ever. They said that would never happen in Sydney, Australia. So you guys, should we make our way across the street to the crematorium?
So we say goodbye to all these memorials.
But anyway, look at the crying statue over there.
Somewhere on the street must be this statue or this monument for Chris Giffroy, the last one who got shot at the wall.
Are you sure this isn't it?
No. No. And what I read is that his mom, he worked in the bar that's just on the corner of the Baumschulenstraße and the Schiefholzstraße.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings history to your local bar.
Sure. Wow. Okay. whole other cemetery.
What?
A machine to get candles. That's amazing. Nuts, huh?
Well, we're in the central lane, and it's very grey. It's a 3-lane entrance with 4 rows of trees, and the fact or the reason that I'm walking a little bit faster is because that is the new crematorium.
Right, from...
And now my interest in architecture comes on top of...
this is post-unification, right? This is from 92, 93, I believe? This crematorium
Axel
here?
Schulte and Christiane Franke, the
Okay.
two who designed the Kanzleramt. So
Okay.
we are in the 90s. Now we'll never forget their names anymore. So this whole Friedhof, this whole cemetery, that started in 1902.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, how it's slowly disappearing under the evergreens. The evergreen.
And here, and you guys, here over here are these sort of communal depositories for ashes.
Oh.
I don't want to be cremated.
No, me neither.
My dad said to me, he goes, man, don't you cremate me.
I thought also it was quite fascinating to be buried like on your feet, like not lying but standing.
Right.
And then you are wearing a hat,
Mm-hmm.
a big nice hat, because on top of your grave. But I'm also thinking of sustainable ways, being
Burial at sea.
Yeah, or fed to the
Yeah, that's creepy.
fed to the birds.
Crabs and sharks and stuff.
No, that's no,
Yeah, no.
I don't like that.
Your body just ripped around. And
Yeah, that
you know.
people eat you.
Yeah.
That's no, you know all these fugitives on the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
From
They're just-
one
they're
boat
just-
and
yeah.
they sink to the thing.
Yeah.
And they're fishing, doing a lot of fishing in the Mediterranean. So you
Mhm.
get tuna fish or whatever you get, it's got remains of those.
And those guys in them. Yeah, I know. Submarine fuel and oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the radioactive.
Tins of sardines.
Yeah, but that's what you have in the Gulf of Gioia Tower, which is in the neighborhood of Sicily, northeast of Sicily. There you've got this Gulf, and the Italian 'Ndrangheta, which is that part of the mafia who lives over there. They take all these contracts for radioactive waste and so jump. So that's over there, and then they go fishing for your Dorado.
Mm-hmm.
This is the new crematorium,
Right.
and it's got a
Crematorium.
reverb.
It's got reverb.
It's got
Yeah.
and how?
Oh, you guys over here, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. To the 1,195 murdered anti-fascists.
Do you
Their
hear the
ashes
reverb?
are buried here.
Oh wow! It's a pity it's a crematorium. It looks beautiful. Well, okay. Dead people deserve nice buildings as well. Nice. So, the whole story hasn't finished yet.
Look at this, man. This is nuts. Glad we got here. And you guys, this is pretty amazing, right? Look at the urns.
Yep. We have seen the little memorial for the DDR victims. We have seen the little memorial for the Italian ones, and we have seen the little plaque for the Polish ones. But my God, this is a 2-person bed standing right up from, what is it, granite?
Yeah.
And it's so in your face, and it's
I wonder what year it's from.
showing muscles and whatever.
There's got to
And
be
it's a
immediate
monument.
post-war.
This is DDR as well.
Yeah, of course, definitely.
This is social realist
Yeah.
prose. Oh wait, it's a poem.
Who is Walter Demnal?
Well, that's the poet.
Right. But I don't know. I'm
Demel,
I'm
Demel.
Demel. I'm not familiar with him.
Demel, I don't know, but this is the poem.
Wow.
Stunden, Wunden, Verlies, Stieß, Stören, Gehören, Zerfällt, Behält, Geboten, Toten, Dankbarkeit, bessere Zeit. So that's a poem for the anti-fascist victims who in their last hour in a lost corner, and they were defending themselves amongst cries of death and then became victim to the murderous lust of their enemy, something like that. I think this is what a graveyard should be like, no? Slowly nature taking over, and then you see the gravestones in between from, where is my family?
Where is my family?
Where is my family?
But isn't it the case in Germany that you buy a plot or you sort of rent a plot for a certain number of years, and then afterwards, if there's no one around to
It's everywhere.
pay for it, then they basically disinter you?
That's
I don't know what they
everywhere.
do with your bones. They grind them up or do something with it. I don't have no idea. But the
No,
stones
no,
are just sometimes like just turned into whatever, you know. Sometimes you see them. We can't see it right now, but I bet there's a plot here or a lot somewhere where old stones are just thrown.
That's one thing, but that's also the reason that they could get rid of Hess,
Okay,
because they paid for a certain time and they didn't renew his contract,
right.
and that's how they emptied the grave and
Oxman too, probably. Well, I have no idea in the world. Well, Oxman only died in like
93.
93. Okay.
No, he's just there. He served his 3.5 years and that's it.
Okay. Huh.
Jace,
Yeah.
we are here a lifetime already.
Doesn't it?
We're already here a lifetime.
More war graves.
More war graves. Yeah, you know this kind of ceremonial
Yeah.
graves that you can make a salute to the left and the right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you find in every graveyard.
Wow.
Okay, we're rounding it off while we are walking to our final destination.
We're rounding it off. We're here at the crematorium in Baumschulenweg.
Yeah, you can see us on a yellow brick road.
Took a walk with somebody a few weeks ago, and she's like, I just feel like there's so many spirits here. And I was like, I don't feel like there's anything here. The spirits have flown the coop, man. They're gone. They're long gone. You know?
True.
I think there's somewhere else they go. You know? I'll send you guys some Charles Birchfield paintings, and you know what I'm talking about, because this is absolutely that. He's also from the part of America on the same latitude as Brandenburg, and he had the same kind of growth, the same kind of weather system, and this, that, and the other thing.
Okay, dear listener, we started with Birchfields and we ended with Birchfields. You have been listening to our trip around the Baumschulenweg.
Cemetery?
Exactly.
And the crematorium?
And the crematorium as well. And if you want to find it on the map, it's pretty straightforward. You go with the S-Bahn to Baumschulenweg, walk to Kiefolstrasse, and there you find the entry to the left side and to the right side.
And it's a beautiful place, actually.
Yeah. Especially the cemetery, the aesthetics of those mass graves, those people being there together. The Sachsenhausen thing, quite impressive. If it is a Sachsenhausen thing.
The little Italian
but
section.
Once again, I believe you on your word, Jason. Anyway, you've been listening to
Radio on Berlin. My name is Jason Paul Honea. I am Boy True, aka the Shitty Listener. And this is
Rinus Van Alebeek, and this is part of our Radio on Historic series, as always recorded and edited to smoothen your ears and to make a nice narrative out of this by Adrian Shephard, following us like a shadow.
Thank you, Adrian.
P.S. Dear listener, we are waiting for your donation, but we are also waiting for your clicks on www.radio-on-berlin.com.
Radio on Berlin. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You have been listening to Radio on Berlin.
Yeah!